Michael Grimm is congressman from the state of New York, and he's been known to have a temper in the past. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. He's a former FBI agent, and he decided that he'd run for Congress, won the seat, and after the State of the Union, he was going to go talk to New York One, which is a local New York outlet, and they talked about the State of the Union, and then they were going to ask him one more question. And that question was, of course, about a federal investigation into his fundraising in his 2010 election. Now, he might be in a world of trouble for that. He did not appreciate that question, so this is what happened next.
We have you here. We haven't had a chance to kind of talk about some of the...
I'm not speaking about anything that's off topic. This is only about the president.
Well, what about...
Thank you.
All right, so Congressman Michael Grimm does not want to talk about some of the allegations concerning his campaign finances. We wanted to get him on camera on that, but he, as you saw, refused to talk about that. Back to you. Why?
Let me be clear to you. You have to do that to me again. I'll tell you.
I wanted to ask you. Why? It's a valid question.
You tell me what. You're not man. You're not man.
That was awesome. I'm so sorry that some of it was inaudible because, I mean, whatever the madness was in the middle of that must have been great too. But in case you missed it, I gotta read you the quotes again. If you ever do that to me again, I'll throw you off this balcony. Nice. Okay, and then number 2, no, you're not man enough. You're not man enough. I'll break you in half like a boy. Okay, all right. Now, he came out afterwards and did not apologize. Later, after he realized you look like a maniac, he did apologize. But at first, he was not apologetic. Let me read you the statement he had immediately afterwards. And in that, you're going to see that this isn't just fun and games. There's a very important point to make here. So let me read you a statement. He said, I was extremely annoyed because I was doing a New York One a favor by rushing to do their interview first in lieu of several other requests. The reporter knew that I was in a hurry and was only there to comment on the State of the Union, but insisted on taking a disrespectful and cheap shot at the end of the interview. Because I did not have time to speak off topic, I verbally took the reporter to task and told him off. Because I expect a certain level of professionalism and respect, especially when you go out of my way to do a reporter a favor. Okay, so let's break that down. Number 1, I love that he says, you owe me a certain amount of professionalism and respect. He just threatened to throw the guy off the balcony. Okay, I wouldn't qualify that as professional or respectful, right? Second of all, he said he didn't have time for further questions, but he did have time to come back and tell him that he was going to break him like a boy. Okay, so apparently he had a little bit of time. But the most important part, and why this story is more serious than I think the rest of the press is covering it is, look at the assumption there in that statement. That I'm doing you a favor, and I'm giving you access to a United States congressman. So you do as you're told and ask the questions that I want to answer. But if you ask me questions that I don't want to answer, well, I consider that unprofessional, and I will not do you that favor anymore. I'll take away my access. This is how this game is played. Now, normally the idiot doesn't go in and threaten a reporter and say that he's going to throw him off the balcony. But in essence, this is what all the congressmen and senators do. They say, if you don't play ball, well, you're never going to get that interview again. I did you a favor by coming on and talking to you. In other words, it's not a favor to New York One. You're talking to your constituents. You represent them. And the way that they see you is through the media, right? But their assumption is, no. The press is supposed to be our PR people, and if they step out of line, we're going to break them in half. Now, eventually he came to his senses. Let's go to Michael Scotto, who's a reporter there. He went on Morning Joe and talked about this.
I was taken aback. I have never, I'm used to people giving me pushback for questions, but I was not used to something like that. He basically came over to me, as you saw, and said that if I ever do something like that again, he would throw me from the balcony. And he continued to criticize, saying that I really shouldn't have asked that question without giving him notice. He did seem angry. He seemed angrier than I have ever seen a politician talk to a reporter about a question.
You think he seemed angry? Yeah, I wasn't quite clear on that. Okay. Eventually, Michael Scotto tweeted out that Representative Michael Grimm called to apologize. He said he overreacted, you think? And I accepted his apology. Well, that's good. Now, let's talk about a little bit about Michael Grimm's anger issues. Now, there's been many different instances where this happened. For example, after 2012, they asked him if he was going to accept his Democratic opponent's concession after he won the election. He said, no, if he calls me, I won't accept the concession. It's kind of a weird thing. You won. If you don't accept the concession, does that mean the race is still on? Okay. And he said, quote, I have no respect for him as a man, a person, or anything. He has disgraced himself and his family. Again, a little ironic coming from Michael Grimm. In another incident, when he was talking to Congressman Israel at a gathering of the AFL-CIO, Congressman Israel had made a joke. He's a Democrat. And the only person not laughing in the room was Michael Grimm. And Israel asked him if he was going to laugh. And Grimm, according to the Talking Points memo, picked up and wielded a butter knife from a dining table at the catered event, looked at Israel, and said simply, I'm not laughing. Okay. By the way, I love when tough guys pick up butter knives. This guy's such a tool. All right. Now, back to his FBI days. He got in trouble once for doing something totally outrageous. Wait till you get a little of this, and it might give you a sense of the kind of roid rage that Michael Grimm has had for a while. Okay? Gordon Williams was an off-duty New York PD officer, and apparently got into an altercation with Grimm, who walked out of the club after getting into that altercation, then came back with his gun and badge, and came back with a couple of other officers and said, okay, now this is an FBI situation, everybody up against the wall. In fact, let me pick it up here from the New Yorker. Grimm was carrying on like a madman. He's screaming, I'm gonna fucking kill him. So I said to him, who are you? He put the gun back in his waist and said, I'm a fucking FBI agent. Ain't nobody gonna threaten me. Okay, all right, big tough guy over here. It's about to get worse. He said to me, thanks a lot, man. He don't know who he's fucking with. Then he said something frightening. I'll fucking make him disappear where nobody will find him. Perhaps off a balcony. Okay, so this guy's been making threats like this for a long, long time. But the last part I think is actually underrated. It hasn't been talked about a lot, but I think it's much worse. Listen to what happened here. Everybody get up against the fucking wall. What are you, OJ, by the way? That's exactly the same words OJ used when he got busted the second time. Williams recalled him saying, the FBI is in control. Then Grimm, who apparently wanted to find the man with whom he'd originally had the altercation, said something that Williams said he'll never forget. All the white people get out of here. That was actually backed up by a couple of other witnesses, according to the New Yorker, that he came in, he told everybody to get the fuck against the wall and said, all right, white folks leave, and only minorities stay, and then proceeded to, harass those guys. Now, luckily, no one got seriously hurt in that incident. But does Michael Grimm have a violence problem and an anger problem? It certainly appears that way. And then finally, I got this great tweet from one of our viewers right before the show, Lex Monille. He said, so the news is going to label this guy a thug, right? Now, I haven't seen anybody call him a thug. So Richard Sherman does an interview that lasts about 10 seconds after the San Francisco-Seattle game. It brags about how he's the best corner in the world, and that Michael Crabtree is a sorry-ass receiver. And everybody's like, thug! Thug! This guy's threatening to throw somebody off a balcony and break him in half. And he's done this repeatedly. Yet, I haven't heard the word thug one time. Interesting. Okay. But the main takeaway is the assumption that congressmen don't work for you, and that if anybody in the media actually wants access to them, they better make sure to not ask tough questions.